Okay, so I'll just do a very brief introduction. I'll introduce the panel and then we'll go through the rest of today's proceedings. So basically, by August this year, there's about 30 members or more of the Crewe faculty who are going to be made redundant, with a further 160 jobs at risk within the next couple of years. Now, the issue is that at the moment, the senior management team are resisting sensible redeployment of staff, and more worryingly, there's a distinct lack of transparency in their proceedings. Okay, so there are a number of issues that the panel are going to discuss a bit more in depth as we go on, but clearly this is a very disturbing time for our colleagues, and really, because they're set to lose their jobs within a very short time period, it's quite important that we all stand together and support them in their quest. More worryingly, this week we had Dominic Leiterberg and I had a meeting with David Jackson from the HR team, and basically the Highness process of rationalisation is set to roll out across the whole of the faculties within the university. It's true today, it's going to be some of the rest of you tomorrow. So we really do need to stand strong on this to be able to support our members, not just now, but into the rationalisation process that continues into the future as well. Okay. So what happens at Crewe, we believe, is going to be set as a blueprint for the rest of the university. And you know, if they get away with quite highness sanctions at Crewe, it's going to roll out to the rest of the people, and we really need to be worried about that over the next 5 years plus. Okay. More importantly, it's not that MMU doesn't have the money, it's that they won't spend it. They're sat on a very nice cash pot of almost £400 million. They made a profit of, I think it was about 38 million this year. In our faculty alone, we know that we make 16-17 million from our undergraduate programmes alone. So at the end of the day, it's not that they don't have the money to spend, it's that they will not spend it on intellectual capital and intellectual capacity and academic staff within that process. Okay? So with this cash-rich context in our minds, and without further ado, I'll introduce the panel. And we'll get on to the rest of today's agenda. So in the middle, we've got Julie Wilkinson, who's our branch secretary for UCU at MMU. We have also, second to my left, we have Rick Benolio, who's the site convener at Crewe. We have our guest speaker today, Sally Hunt, who sat directly on my left. She's the general secretary for UCU nationwide. And next to Julie Wilkinson, we have Martin Moss. He's our regional official. I was going to say regional officer there, but it's regional official, isn't it? Make sure I get the title right. Sorry, Martin. He's our regional official based in the Northwest region, and him and Roger Grigg at the end, who's our regional support officer, have been instrumental in supporting the team in their defence of jobs to get a much better deal, or as better deal as possible for our members in Crewe. So I'll pass first to Julie Wilkinson.
So hello. For some people here, you're familiar with what's happening at MMU. For others, it's less familiar, so forgive me for going over some of the ground. Last summer, the university announced their plans to close the Crewe Campus. The ultimate result of that is going to be the loss of 370 jobs in total, both 160 academic staff over 3 years, and all the support staff who work there as well. The management have used a rationale based on adapting the university to the provisions in what was then the white paper on higher education, which is now in the process of being rushed through Parliament. You haven't voted on that, I'm sure Sally will probably deal with some of this. So I won't go into great detail about the context, but that was the sort of the rationale. We began negotiating and talking to the management. We had expected, and Crewe colleagues had expected, that the university would take the same sort of stance that they had in the past with reorganisation. Many members at Crewe felt that they were likely to be redeployed. We're a big, big university, plenty of an aging workforce like me, right? People, people leaving, you know, natural wastage, as it were, is fairly substantial. Not that difficult to redeploy staff from Crewe into very close or exactly the same sorts of teaching areas in Manchester. We have found that that just hasn't happened. The redeployment has been glacial and not under global warming. Glacial like it used to be. Struggling with the metaphor. So in February, finally, the university actually made the decision that they were going to close the campus. It's important that people understand that the UCU branches and UCU generally's actions were governed by the timing of when they made that decision. It was only after they made the formal decision to close the campus that we were in a position to hold a consultative e-ballot. That consultative e-ballot was incredibly important because it meant that people participated in our branch to a level that they've never participated in our branch since I started at MMU, 16, 17 years ago. And they voted by large majority and in large numbers to go to an industrial action ballot. You realise that we're now, I think we're the first branch under the new industrial legislation governing the actions of trade unions. And for that reason, we are being ultra careful and we're taking close advice from national and regional who've been absolutely fantastic in the level of support that they've offered the branch. We can't fault them. We're being really careful that we don't get caught out by the law. In a sense, in a double sense, we're sort of guinea pigs. In a sense, the Crewe cuts are a dress rehearsal, if you like, for what is likely to come down the road in Manchester, where we understand rumours of figures are flying around, but certainly we're facing cuts, and we could be facing cuts, the rumours are, of £10 million worth of cuts in Manchester. So we think this is one of the reasons why it's so hard for management to redeploy people in Manchester, because they're intending to cut jobs in Manchester too. What they seem to be testing out is a new way of reorganisation, which involves cutting people's jobs without really taking any notice of their legal responsibility for redeployment, without proper consultation with the branch, without sticking by their agreements with the union, and they're waiting to see whether we get the majority that we need to take industrial action in our industrial action ballot, which closes. You need to post your papers if you're here and you haven't posted it yet by Saturday, May the 6th, for a deadline on Monday, May the 8th. They are daring us. They are treating us with some contempt, we feel, because they don't think that Manchester members are going to vote. We're getting the impression that they are, especially since they banned our meeting in a business school and made us move down here. So I think that's all I want to say for the moment. And I'm going to hand over to Rick, if that's okay, to talk about the experience of being a Crewe convener over this period.
Hi everybody, my name is Rick Finolio. I'm a senior lecturer in exercise and sports science at MMU Cheshire, and I am one of the two site conveners at Crewe, along with Professor Michael Laughlin, who's in the audience here. And can I start by thanking him for all his effort over the last 9-10 months. I've been asked to put into words what it's been like to be at MMU Cheshire over the last 11 months. And I thought about it, and I thought, how can I put into words when you see your colleagues sobbing in the corridors as a result of the stress? How can you put into words the bewilderment at the management who are treating us and want to treat us as a separate establishment so that they can do things to us and they don't have to be responsible for doing them to other departments and faculties in Manchester? How can I put into words the uncontrollable feeling of anger at the way that there's a facade happening in Cheshire? Everything is okay, we're moving forward, we get smiles from the Vice Chancellor, etc. Everything's fine. We now have a new patio. The for students outside the canteen. A new patio, 5 tables. We've been asking for a patio for about 2 decades. We get it now. So how can you put that into words? And what about the things you actually don't hear about or don't see? The pressure and the stress on relationships, family relationships, relationships between parents and children, partnerships. What about the things you don't see, the inability to plan financially for our children, etc.? What about the inability to deal with all the stress? And many of us, I know for a fact, we have increased our alcohol intake, we've increased our other self-medication because of what's been happening. You might not see it, but it has been happening in Crewe amongst staff. There's been confusion and bewilderment. Why are we being the guinea pigs? Why are we being set out to do this? So I thought about this. I thought about this a lot because people are asking me, because I'm in a relatively privileged position, why and how has this come about? And I think it's come about by, after Christmas, management gave us an Excel spreadsheet with everybody up on the campus and the FTEs. Okay? I am now not Rick Fenolio. I am a number. I am 3 letters. I am an FTE. Right? They had the FTEs, then they had the number of current staff in that, and then they subtracted and found out how many people they needed to get rid of in order to fill the FTE only. If you look at this paper, it's got no feelings, it's got no names, no personalities, no qualifications. This is what they've been going by, an FTE number. Nothing else has mattered. No TEF or ref level, nothing. It's literally been down to being a number. And for me, I've thought about this. This is why all the confusion, all the stress is because they're treating us not as individuals. So, it has been emotional. It's been very, very difficult. In summary, we understand the economics of higher education. This is what we do. We know this. These are our jobs. But what has happened and the way they've done this management is nothing short of mental, professional, and inhumane torture.
I think that's, how do you follow that? You follow that by saying, my name is Sally Hunt. More importantly, my job is to be the General Secretary of the University and College Union, and our job as members of the University and College Union is to support every single member at Crewe who are being put in that situation. I think it is shameful. And I speak to all of us when I say that our respect for how those members have conducted themselves over what has been a terrible period of time, stretched out, designed to undermine them, designed to humiliate them, designed to intimidate them, has been nothing short of exemplary. And I really, really, really want, on behalf of the union, to say how very much they have our respect, because you need to know that. We understand that this has been difficult, but to hear what you've just said then, Rick, I think that puts it in perspective. What I was going to tell you was that I came up to the lobby of your governing body in February, where we made it clear that we were opposed to the plans that were taking place. I then came back and deliberately went to the campus at Crewe because I wanted to meet firsthand all those people who are affected. And I wanted to tell you today what I saw there, but Rick has really reflected it far more personally and far more clearly than I could possibly have done. But I do want to add my words to that. I sat in a lecture theatre, and I think that I have not been in a meeting in UCU like that, actually. There was a meeting where literally every single person in that room, every single one, by the end of that meeting, was telling me a story personally about how they were being mistreated. So, when we have agreements between the union and the university that says that people will have one-to-one discussions so that they can have personalised plans, so that they can have identified opportunities, so that they can have prioritisation, so that they can be made to feel that they have a future. And then I matched that against what I heard. They had the wrong documentation. They did not know my job. They got the quotes for voluntary severance payments wrong. They did not tell me about a job opportunity that came up. They put me up against people externally who were going for this job. They told me that because I didn't have a very narrow qualification for a particular job that was coming up, that meant that I was not going to be matched to it. It is very hard, I have to say, when you're sitting listening to that over and over again from people on different jobs, different salaries, different courses, all telling you the same thing, to do anything other than think that what's happening here at Manchester Met is you've got a university management who are playing fast and loose with what should be good collective organisation. And there is one response for us, one, as a union when that happens, and that's that we stand together and we say no and we will not accept it. People in those departments don't stand on their own, they stand with all of us, and that's what we are about today. Now, not only have I never been in a meeting like that in UCU, I have to say, I've not been banned from a campus before. Now I know some may not like my perfume, some may not like how I dress, some may not even like how I speak, some may really object to my politics. All of that I can accept. But where we have a university that is about free speech, academic freedom, the ability of people to talk, to debate, the absolute raison d'etre to make sure that students understand when they come into that course at the beginning, they leave by the end understanding how to stand up for themselves, how to question, how to actually articulate a differing point of view and feel able to do that because of the education they have got within a university. For that university to say they are scared that colleagues from Manchester University, colleagues from Fujitsu, your elected General Secretary want to come and show support to our members, I think that is shameful, and it tells you quite how scared they are about what is taking place. So remember, because we have a job of work to do now. Julie said that you are the first university to test out how we respond to very, very clearly anti-trade union legislation that was designed to stop us taking action to support each other. It's not quite true, Julie. We have one more. We've already had a successful ballot at another university in the country, Brighton, where we have gone past that threshold and we have had negotiations that have reached a point now where we have been able to suspend industrial action because the university has understood the level of anger and the level of support amongst our members. That's what happened. So I think, I don't know about you, but when you have a situation where they first of all try and shut people down, isolate them, stop their voice, then when they try and stop those who want to stand with them from being able to meet together and organise, then when they overtly to our officials in meetings say, we don't think you're going to be able to deliver, there's only one response to that, and that's that we get the vote out, that we pass that barrier, and we make sure that the negotiators, when they go in, are clearly doing that with a voice that says the members back them. That's not something that happens magically. That's something that we all do. I say to those at Manchester University, that's the help we need from you at Manchester Met to get that vote out, to make sure that there isn't one member anywhere that hasn't had a door knocked, who hasn't been asked, who hasn't made sure that their vote hasn't come in. Because if we don't get that vote, then they've won. And I simply don't think that's acceptable. I do not think, when you have sat there and you've listened to what Rick has described and what those members are going through, that there is any response short of us taking action that is going to suffice to get this message across. And if we don't do that, This fight will be lost. But as Catherine has said, the fights that are going to come, and they are going to come, are going to be that more difficult. I have to tell you that the higher education bill got voted through by acclaim last night in the House of Commons. What that means is that there has been a deal done by the Labour opposition. I'm not happy about this, you might be able to tell, where they have got a delay in the implementation of TEF and fees for a year and a review. And they have a review that will be put in place that will examine, they say, the profit providers coming into the sector. On that basis, they put their hands up and they let that bill through. It's a total shame. They have had a very clear expression of your collective annoyance from their General Secretary as that happened yesterday. I made it very clear that we do not support the position that's been taken, but we now have to deal with it. Because what that means is that university managements are going to start looking at how they can respond to TEF and how they can construct what they see as a profitable future for themselves in competition with others. And that now means that the battle we're fighting about what an academic is, what a qualification should be, how students should be taught, what makes for a good education is now absolutely on our doorsteps, and we have to fight it. Because the other thing that I really resent about what's happened to our members of Crewe is they've suddenly been told that they're not doing their job well enough to teach their own students. That's not because their students have said that. They are, if anything, in Manchester Met, the place where open access occurs. They are the place where many non-traditional students feel safe and able to study and get their degree. Yet they are the people, both in terms of what management here are saying and in terms of how TEF will construct an argument, who are going to be told that they are no longer valid. Now, we are an academic union and we have to oppose that. So we have to do that within this dispute, but we have to articulate that back to wherever, God help us, government we get on June the 8th. This battle isn't just about Manchester Met. I have to be clear about that. This battle is about two things. It's about the right for people to organise, the right to take industrial action, the right to support each other. And within our sector, it's the right to actually have a voice as part of an institution that says this is about being collegiate, not management top-down. This is about what a university is. And we collegially say it is not acceptable to choose to shut down a whole arm of academic work and endeavour within an institution with no consultation, no meaningful support, and no real plan for change. That is not acceptable, and it is management who should be on the boards here, not our members, and it is management who have to be held to account for what I consider absolutely shocking decisions that are destroying the reputation of this university, and it is a great university. So that's a challenge, and I'd just like to check, have all the people in this room who should have voted? Have you? Would you do me a favour? Because I suspect that means that each of you know 3 people who might not. Commit to it. Go and make sure today that they have done that. And once they've done that, ask them to do the same. Nothing less than having that mandate is acceptable for this union. And my commitment then is I sit and I advise the officers who sign off action. I promise you, that sign-off will happen so quickly your management won't know what's hit them. And I promise you something else. If this goes for the long haul, members from across the country pay money into a solidarity fund to make sure we support our members who take action. I am also the secretary to that fund. I promise that will have my support if this goes on, because you need to win this. And the members at Crewe, Rick, need to know, however tough, You have 100,000 people standing with you. And that's what we do in trade unions, and we're proud to do it, and we're proud to do it particularly for the members at Crewe. We thank you, and we give you our support, do we not? Thank you very much.
Okay, I'd like to thank obviously Rick, Sally and Julie for their heartfelt commitment to the cause, and I'd like to hand over now to the audience for questions, and the panel will answer anything that comes up. So, anybody with any questions?